I think it's more about believing in yourself that yes, you have to be good. You have to know that it's 80% that you have done. That's enough. Why don't you take inspiration from others rather than, competing with others? Believe in your skills and work for it.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the CSI show. Hi, I'm Puranjay Potnis.
And I'm Delicia Fernandez.
And we're your hosts for today.
Continuing since our last episode on app development, we know Flutter is hugely trending.
So joining us today is India's first woman Google developer expert for Flutter and the senior product engineer at CreatorStack.
She has won the Flutter and the Women Tech Maker Travel Grant and is one of the top 100 recipients of the Women Tech Maker Udacity Scholarship.
So please put your hands together and welcome Pooja Bhome. Thank you so much, Pooja ma'am, for joining us today here on our talk show.
Thank you
I
so
hope
much.
you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for inviting.
So ma'am, jumping right in, what new things have you explored during the lockdown, both technical and non-technical?
So yeah, in the lockdown, I kind of had to force myself to learn cooking because I guess it was a survival mode in a way. So that was my non-technical thing that I had to learn for sure. And I guess the lockdown was the pandemic was a very different phase for all of us. I guess not everyone was productive. So I was also not the best productive person as well. In a way, I was still adapting to this new rules and phase and the only technical thing that I kind of forced myself to actually do was it's technical non-technical kind of thing, which is basically I joined YouTube during the pandemic, because before that I was not kind of confident about it and I did not have the time for it, and being at home I was like, okay, maybe this is my new thing that I want to do. And because of that, I kind of probably learned a lot of things, which is in the creative side of things. And that was mostly my, learnings from the pandemic.
What really interested you about app development?
I guess when I kind of started programming, probably in my 11th, it was because I actually wanted to join computer science a lot. Because I was a designer first. Okay, so I kind of thought that I wanted to turn my designs into something that is more meaningful rather than just graphic designing stuff. It's not being very impactful in a way. So I was trying to turn that into UX, UI design, right? And there was the only way I could do it was either web development or app development. And for some reason, I kind of was more interested in app development. I had an idea in mind. So I was building this app for CBSE board takers, and there was in 11th I was also giving the CBSE board exam. So in a way, kind of things worked out and I kind of learned Java by myself. That was the time that I think it was Eclipse, not even Android Studio. Android Studio did not even exist at that point. Gradle did not exist at that point of time. So it was Eclipse time, and probably I don't know how many years it has been, but yeah, that's how I got into app development in a way, because I wanted to turn my idea and designs into something meaningful, something like a product. But I guess the reason why I stayed in app development was once that app got into Play Store and people started using it, it was not even monetized or anything, but the comments and all, because of it I actually cleared my CBSE board exam. There were a lot of good things about this app. It helped me clear my physics paper, it helped me clear my chemistry paper. It was that satisfaction that kind of was a high for me, as I need to keep doing this. So I kind of stayed with app development like that. I mean, I tried a lot of other things as well, but app development stayed with me.
So, ma'am, since you mentioned that you had put it up on Google Play, so tell us about that experience. How was that experience? What was your process like?
It was like the first time it was a very very long back, and I had to like learn a lot of things by myself. I was actually doing this with a friend as well. Like we both were kind of noobs in app development, Java, and like we had no idea what to do. Basically Google helped us in a way, like just Google it kind of thing. So in a way I think putting that app on Play Store kind of is a very impactful moment for the when the first time it happens. Even like when I like deployed like a website also, I did not feel like that, because it was like, yeah, it's just there. But an app on Play Store, kind of like, oh, okay, so it's out there in the world. My baby is out there in the world, kind of thing. So yeah, that feeling was really great. But the feeling became better and better when the reviews started coming on. People started telling me, hey, you're the one who built the app, right? And it's like, yeah. So that kind of feeling was, I think, great.
So ma'am, would you recommend app development as a career choice in India?
Definitely, definitely. Like, like, of course, there's a lot of great options parallel to it, like web development, front end, back end, everything is like a very good option to have. But I guess I would prefer anyone who is more of a product person to have like an app development kind of. I mean, in a way, you like, of course, don't have to be a product person right from college and all that, but you need to like the process, the end-to-end process. Okay, so it's like full stack development kind of thing, like, of course, we do need backend developers as well, but right now with like serverless technologies coming out, we kind of don't even need for certain use cases, we kind of don't even need backend for that. So you have to like develop the end-to-end process for it. You need to like you need to make sure that like app develop. So basically building an app is very personal and intimate kind of a development, because the users are going to be using it like their own thing. Websites are more like, hey, I'm going to just log on my computer and then I'm going to use my website, or like mobile browser, of course.
Right.
But apps are more personalized in a way. So you are going to be working in the like personalized apps a lot, and if you like doing that, definitely you should consider it. So definitely app development in whatever language and whatever framework is a very hot topic even today.
So ma'am, then walk us through about some of your projects, and the one that you're most proud of, like that one project.
In a way, like after I kind of joined Bounce, which was like 2 years back, I kind of stopped doing a little bit of side projects because I did not have the time for it. And I was really proud of the work that I was doing in Bounce as well. So I think that is like right now the recent most is that I am actually proud of the work that we did in Bounce. In a way, we were like solving some really like amazing problems which a lot of people were not doing at that point of time. We had competitors and all that, but it was like just Bluetooth enabled bikes and people. And at that point of time in Bangalore, it's like a very hot startup kind of thing. Like people are like, wherever we want to travel, we just like need a Bounce bike, just somewhere lying on the road kind of thing. And yeah, that was like pretty cool, like working with Bluetooth and all. I think that is my kind of the recent most proud project.
Ma'am.
So ma'am, like stirring back to a little before the pandemic, right? Let's talk about Flutter Live 2018. For our viewers who don't know what Flutter Live is, it's an annual Flutter meet where the Flutter team reveals the latest updates of Flutter and, or whatever new is there in the Flutter like community. And this happened in London. So tell us about your experience.
Yeah, so that was actually a long time back. I think it was 2018, I guess, right?
2018.
Yes. So in a way, Flutter basically does this annual events where they like name it differently. So it was like live, then engage, sort of like that. So Flutter Live was the first Flutter kind of an event, and at that point in time, I was not a GD as well. I was just like a contributor to the community, and I don't remember how it kind of happened, but I think there was like, uh, I guess kind of got like an invitation to kind of join the event. I don't know if there was like a form or something. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, so Nilay had probably like, pinged me or something like that, that this is basically they're calling out contributors from around the world to come to London and basically be part of the first Flutter event. So I was definitely excited because I was like something that I felt like something that I kind of earned in a way, when I went, I kind of like made the trip in a way. Oh, by the way, I had to like, it was my third year. So basically my sixth semester exams as well. My sixth semester exams were happening during that Flutter Live thing. Okay. So I had to miss,
Wow.
I had to miss one electronics subject or something like that because of Flutter Live. And I was like, it is not even a question. I mean, I don't care if college or not.
Okay.
Give a damn.
I mean, Flutter Live.
London. And the event happened and I was like meeting these people that I just knew from Twitter. I was like, surreal moment. Like, I think I was having the fan moment kind of thing. Like, oh, damn, you are the one who built that package. You're the one who built that framework, blah, blah, blah. Like, whoa, this is crazy. This is like a red carpet for developers. So when I met these people from, all over the world, I kind of like was like, wow, celebrity moment kind of thing. And in a way, I kind of like was really lucky that I was like part of this, the people that was called. And I was also asked to like be part of this Q&A kind of a session. Yeah, so there was basically, I think we had Andrew, and we also have Wim Lellers. So he's not part of Google right now. He's doing his own startup, I think. But he was there and they were interviewing me about, Flutter and how I got started and all that. And my friends were watching it live from India. And they were like crazy, like, what? Like, isn't our friend on TV, like getting interviewed by people like from Google? I was like, crazy moment. So definitely that was an amazing experience. And
now that you're India's first woman tech GD for Flutter, how did that whole process come about?
I think it was the same time that my Nilay was probably like messaging me about, you should apply for being a GD, you should apply for being a GD. I was a college student at that point of time and I was thinking, I mean, I am not sure if I'm good enough, right? What if, like there are so many great people who are GDs. I feel like I'm not, matching the criteria, whatever the criteria is. I think it was mostly imposter syndrome actually. So I kind of waited. Like, okay, so I was like, okay, let this Flutter Life happen. Let me just meet these people who are like, great people in the community and see if I actually match up with them. And yeah, I was definitely more impostery there after meeting them. But once, she kept on pushing like, try it out, just try it out, just try it out. And I was like, okay, probably February is when I tried it out. So it was like November, December, January, February. It took me like 3-4 months that I applied. So I had to like give a community resume of all the work that I have done. And mostly like conferences, speaking events, writing stuff and all that. So I had to like write it down like kind of that. And they kind of shortlisted, in a way it was like a recommendation from a Google person already. So it was already I had like, I could go to the round of, the first round was, I think, I guess community interview. So basically another GDE is going to ask you questions about, what you aim to do with this kind of a title, or what your plans are once you become a GDE or something like that. And once you become, and then once you clear that, you have the product interview, which is with a Googler itself or like a Flutter team person, and they're going to ask you technical questions. So it's mostly about state management or like about Flutter stuff, technical stuff. And in a way I cleared both of that, and yeah, in a month or something I kind of became a GD, probably like March 2019.
So ma'am, coming back to how you had mentioned like imposter syndrome, this is like something that is faced by I think every young university engineering student you can go out there. Everybody faces this because everyone seems to be doing something or the other. But do you have any tips or something that you've learned along the way, how you can overcome them or feel like not be so bogged down with this syndrome?
Yeah, in a way I also had like a very higher version of imposter syndrome as well. I still have it in a way. How do I manage it, or how can students manage it, is I think like I don't have like the perfect answer for it, because in a way I've still struggled with it, right? But I think in a way they're only having imposter syndrome because they think others are better, right? Or others are like more skilled or more talented or something like that. I think it's more about believing in yourself now, that yes, you have to be good. You can't be like, lazing around the entire day and say like, I'm still the best, right? So you still have to like work on your skills, right? Sorry. So you still have to work on your skills, right? In a way, once you've worked on the skills and you know that you have done your 100%, you've done your 80%, I guess in a way you have to stop believing that there are people who are trying to like compete with you. I think that's where it kind of comes into the picture, the imposter syndrome, that you're always feeling that everybody's competing with you. Why don't you like take inspiration from others rather than, competing with others? Like my friends, if they are like doing great work, I am not going to be like, I also want to do great work like them. Like, why are they getting this kind of job and I'm not getting that? Like, that's just very immature now, right? You have to like step up and like, hey, that's amazing that you're doing this great work. Like, why don't we collaborate or something like that? I can help you with this, you can help me with that, kind of. You can, help each other kind of thing. Mostly the imposter syndrome might come when you're like meeting seniors and they are like, oh, they know so much. They don't. Okay.
Okay.
Not everyone knows a lot. Okay. Everyone pretends. This is a pretending game. This world is a pretending game. This career is also a pretending game. Everyone is pretending to be amazing. They're not always amazing. They are just like showing off or something, which is completely fine in their game because they are winning with it, right? If they are getting confidence because of it, it's so amazing. Like, do it. You also show off. Like, show off is like in a positive manner, not in a negative manner. But you also show off if that's something that's going to work for you. So definitely, in a way, I realized that I was also very skeptical because I kind of joined as a senior person in Bounce right from college, right? And I was like my age wise, I was not supposed to be a senior, but experience wise, I was sure that I believe in my skills for sure. There are definitely things that I need to improve, but definitely I kind of realized soon enough that everybody is just like pretending to be really good at what they're trying to show, and I kind of realized that it's okay, the age does not matter. And like in a way, a lot of people like pointed out that you too for your age, you should not be a senior engineer. I was like, yeah, what did you do in your age, right? Imposter syndrome is like a mental health kind of thing where you are always doubting yourself. Just don't, believe in your skills and work for it. Don't just believe in your skills that you're not working for, but you have to work for it, and you have to know that it's 80% that you have done. That's enough. And everybody is pretending. That's what you students should remember, that everybody is pretending. You also pretend a little bit, but don't be like a very arrogant show off kind of a person, which is like, oh, I have done this and that, and you have not done that. Be subtle about it, but definitely be proud of what you're doing. Definitely is put it on your wall. Be proud of what you're doing.
What are your pet peeves of app development?
I guess I hate the fact that, like in web development, it's so easy to develop because it's like, the web, you can just like run it on the website so easily. And then in app, you have to like run an emulator and simulator, which is going to take 10 minutes to load. It's going to take up all your resources. And then it's going to like, the laptop is going to start crying, like, why are you opening me? Like, it's a lot of process. It's a lot of process to, just run or develop. Even when you're like working with a physical device, it's like, oh, you have to like plug this in and you need to like developer set up the developer options and blah blah blah. There's a lot of things you need to do, and I was like, I feel like that's like just annoying for app development. It should be a little bit easier for us. App web development is so much easier in that case, but we kind of, with Flutter, I like, we still have to like open all this like emulator and all that, but we don't have to like wait for 15 minutes for the Gradle to complete, like in native development. Okay, so it's like 15 minutes of every time you make a change. Are you gonna wait 15 minutes? Yes. So that kind of was solved in Flutter, but yeah, your laptop crying and all that, it's still happening. So yeah.
So now, ma'am, like we have this like wave of placements going on, placement seasons, now the semesters are ending and everything. And we know that you didn't actually sit for your placements in college, right? So do you think not sitting for your placements affected your career growth or something like that?
You answer. Do you think it affected my career growth?
According to me, it didn't. But then, on a personal level, you must be thinking like, "Arey, baith jati to maybe."
Yeah. In a hypothetical situation, if I sat for my placements, I probably did not sit for my placements because the companies that were coming was not suitable in a way that they were always asking for software engineer. They did not mention what exactly are we going to work on. It was mostly like generic kind of thing. A service company, though, I did not want to join at all because I knew that I had worked on my skills already. There's nothing like, in a way, service company will like, put you in different technologies that you could learn. And in a way, I was like, I was sure that I was going to do app development anyway. So I did not need that kind of thing. So I needed a product company because product was my thing. And there was not much product companies also coming. So in a way, I'll tell you honestly that I was not always planning to not sit for my placements. I was always keeping it as a backup, that in a way that I was keeping my CGPA at a level that I could sit for my placements. Okay, so I kept that backup in a way that if I'm really useless by the end of the college year, I at least have placements. There are great companies as well coming, like Amazon, Google also comes in placements as well. And for that, definitely you need to sit for placements because you kind of get a leverage from the college itself. Again, I did not want Amazon and Google as well. So what did I really need placements for, right? Only I needed startups. I wanted to work on startups only. I did not want my own startup. That was not in my idea, but I wanted to work on startups. So that is why in my case, I was like, like placements is my backup because the companies that are come either service or like really big companies like Amazon and Google, and I did not want either. Like you will be surprised like that I don't want Google and kind of that, because everybody was like, hey, you should get in Google only because you're like Google. I was like, I don't know. I have different ambitions in a way, and in a way I thought that Google will not fulfill it at this stage. Maybe at a higher level it can, but at a junior level it could not fulfill what I wanted to do. I wanted to work on a product from scratch. I wanted to work on a product from end to end. I wanted to work and be part of the product process, right? And this kind of thing you can't get in Google at this early stage kind of thing. If you're like the VP of engineering or whatever, maybe then you can get it. Okay, so that still can happen in the future. It's still possible. But in the junior level, I was still thinking that I'm a junior anyway, right? So I did not want to do this. That's why placements was like, okay, I have my CGPA, but I kind of, so I kind of did not sit for it because I was looking at startups. I started talking to startups, and then I kind of got a job already during like seventh semester kind of, and I was like, it was a startup, and I kind of got the job, and I kind of thought that okay, they're trying to ask me to build something from end to. Also, another reason why I did not like placements was I was so bad at this aptitude stuff. Like
Yeah.
I was so bad
Right,
at it. Like
right.
it's like I don't have common sense at all.
So ma'am, now that you're working full time, how do you keep your technology skills current?
Yeah. I guess have to read a lot. Have to go through all these. Like I go to my Twitter feed a lot, right? And it's not just like friends and all, but there's a lot of people who are talking about different technologies as well. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Let me read that. I sometimes don't finish reading as well, but in a way, I'm like, okay, I know this is happening there, or this is happening somewhere. It's difficult sometimes that just reading does not help you get that knowledge. If you're really interested, you kind of have to start implementing some of those technologies. I try to do that during my weekends because my weekdays are mostly like office or my work life type of thing, but weekends are
Right.
sometimes like I
Right.
try to find like a little bit of 6 hours thing where I can just learn stuff. It does not happen every weekend. So I can say that like the pandemic was a very unproductive time for me. Even though I was like at home the entire
Right.
time, it was not very good time for reading, or like it was a lazy time. It was a very lazy time. So I kind of lost the track there. But now with this new company as well, I kind of have to work on this mobile stuff from scratch, and there's like we are building a team as well, and there's a lot of things that I have to do by myself that I've never done before in Bounce because there were already people who were skilled at that.
Right.
So now I have to like get those
Right.
skills. I have to learn about iOS development as well in a way, so I have to learn that and all that kind of things I have to do because of my job, which is great because if your job is kind of making you do all these things, it's really great job because you're not like
Right.
slacking off the
Right.
entire day and then trying to
Stuck
learn
up.
stuff. Right.
Yeah.
So I guess because of this job, I'm going to learn a lot again, and that's going to be pretty interesting as well. I guess somehow I'll find some time, but yeah, reading, just make sure you're on this feed, Twitter feed or like LinkedIn feed or whatever. Let's just see what people are doing. I think just knowing that later on will give you some interest that you need to know this kind of thing.
So ma'am, we've been speaking for a really long time and it has been very intense. So we'll take a little break and we'll play a little short game with you. I'll just present my
Okay.
screen.
Okay, so I'll explain that much. I will explain what the game is about. This or that. Like you have to choose, and it's an app developer edition. So we'll be showing you 2 apps or 3 apps, and you have to tell us the one that you would use maybe for the rest of your life. Like one choice.
And tell us why.
Okay.
Rapid fire types.
Cool.
Let's go. Okay, so first one.
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay. That was fast.
Never use Snapchat ever.
Next. If you had to take every video call on one
Google
of these
Meet
two.
actually, for some reason.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know why. I have no idea why, but Google Meet.
Next. If you had one choice.
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp,
I'm
Signal,
pretty
Telegram.
WhatsApp.
Next. So both are made in India. One is Practo, one is Aragya Setu.
Definitely practice.
Right.
Practo in a way I kind of use it for doctor appointments and all that, right? So Arugya Setu
Right,
I kind of
right.
use for different like it's basically COVID related, right? So it's a pretty good app there.
Right.
Okay, last one. If you got
What
to
is
work for one of these two companies, YouTube or Netflix?
Okay. I guess YouTube in a way because in a way I
Right.
could help build the YouTube platform for creators. Netflix is mostly for movies and shows, right? I can't really do much about the process of the movies
Yeah,
and shows,
creating
but
them.
here I can
Yeah.
help with the process of creating videos. So definitely
Okay.
YouTube. That would be really great.
What are the new innovations you're waiting for in Flutter and looking forward to?
For Flutter, in a way, there's a lot of things that we were waiting for that kind of we like got released during this recent event in March, which was like, null safety and all, which is, we knew that it was going to happen anyway, but it kind of got released. And the fact that, that it's on desktop stable as well, that was also like, we knew that it was going to happen anyway, but in a way it kind of got official there. Definitely I'm like looking forward, what more platforms can it run on, like it's more like they have actually experiments on like some crazy platforms as well, where like the I think somebody tried to run the app on the Tesla monitor as well, or somebody tried to run it on some kind of a wall with like something I have no idea about, like, or embedded systems as well. Like it's there definitely. Like I want to see more of it in an official manner. League people have experimented definitely, but I want to see a little bit more official stuff from Flutter. Definitely, I want to know what's going to happen with the fuchsia thing as well. There's a lot of craze, build up, and people just want to know, is it going to happen or not?
So like we're coming towards the end of this interview, and to the last question that I want to ask you, ma'am, is that what would be your go-to advice for any young engineer or entrepreneur, watching this show
now? Like young engineers, in a way, I think, what I was basically talking about during the imposter syndrome question is that, you have to like stop thinking about what others want for you. Stop thinking what your friends are doing, in a way, like just because your friends are doing app development doesn't mean you also have to do it, right? Or doesn't mean that they are doing IoT, so you also have to do it. You need to like, explore yourself. This is the time to explore yourself because you're young in a way. You don't have to choose your career right now. So definitely make sure that you're in the exploration mode and don't think about, your parents want you to do this. They only want you to be happy. They only want you to be happy in your career. That's all they kind of want. So be in the exploration mode. They're going to definitely freak out if you say that you're going to have a startup of your own in, just after college. They're going to freak out for sure. But you need to have that honest conversation with them that you need to try it out now, because later you're not going to get this chance. And this is something that I also realized, that I can only explore now. Later I feel I'll want to be more calm in my career rather than, jumping around with things, right? I probably
right.
experiment now, today, rather than later, like 10 years down the line. I like at some point I want to like stop hustling, right? So I think now is the time that you can explore. And I even for me, where I am, just because I wanted to join startups only because it was definitely unstable. Startups are unstable. Startups may or may not last, but you will get to learn so much in that short time span that you kind of will grow more. So make sure the exploration is because you want to grow more. And definitely I think when you actually compare yourself with someone who has taken the standard ladder of like let's go to an MNC, let's work for 3 years, like have a stable life, get married, blah blah blah. So that stable life, then compare yourself, just knowledge compare and see that when you've like hustled, or I don't like the word hustle as well, but when like worked hard in your first 6-8 years of your career, it's going to show in your personality, and then the other person is going to be like, I wanted to be like you. That's what you should aim for.
So with that, we come to the end of our episode.
Thank you so much, Pooja ma'am, for being our guest. This has been a great interview, and we hope you had as much as fun as we did.
Yeah, I had an amazing time. Thank you so much for talking with me. It was great.
It was an honor for us. And to all our viewers, thank you so much for watching the CSI show.
Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment whom you want to see next. Until then, go ahead and
make
it
happen.